I share my business idea with my own brother, and he stole it, shut me out, and left me with nothing. But I didn't cry. I built an empire instead. Want to know how I turned betrayal into my biggest breakthrough? I will tell you everything. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that hits deep. Let's begin. My name is Emily Carter. I was born into a simple, loving family. At least, that's how it looked from the outside. My mother, Sarah Carter, raised my brother Nathan and me all by herself after our dad passed away when I was just 5 years old. Nathan was 9 then, and from that moment on, he became the man of the house. Everyone loved Nathan. He was smart, funny, and always knew what to say. I was the quiet one, the one who liked to stay in her room drawing and making things with her hands. But I didn't mind. Nathan was my hero. I trusted him more than anyone. We grew up in a small town just outside of Chicago. Our house was old, with creaky wooden floors and a garden out back where Mom planted tomatoes every spring. We didn't have much money, but we had each other. One afternoon, when I was about 10, I sat under the big tree in our backyard mixing crushed aloe leaves and coconut oil in a small bowl. Nathan walked up, smirking. "What are you doing, little scientist?" I looked up at him and smiled. "I'm making a cream for Mom's hands. Her skin's been peeling." He raised his eyebrows. "Really? You think that stuff works?" "I think it might," I said, holding up the greenish paste proudly. "It's natural, better than that store lotion." He chuckled. "You're such a nerd, Em. But I like it." From that day, I started dreaming. I wanted to make skincare products that were natural, safe, and kind to the skin. I didn't know it yet, but that small bowl of aloe was the beginning of something much bigger. Years went by. Nathan became the golden boy of our town. He got a scholarship to a fancy business school. Mom was so proud. Me? I stayed close to home. I studied chemistry at the local college, and during my free time, I experimented with oils, herbs, and creams. Sometimes I'd show Nathan what I was working on when he came home for the holidays. "Look," I'd say, holding up a jar, "this is a turmeric-based face mask I made. It reduces redness." Nathan would glance at it, smile politely, and say, "That's cute, Em. You've always been a creative one." He never took it seriously. Or so I thought. After graduation, I struggled to find a job. I applied to labs, skincare brands, even grocery stores. Nothing worked out. I was living back home with Mom, feeling stuck. But I didn't want to give up. I turned our small garage into a mini lab. I painted the walls white, bought a cheap table online, and stored all my oils and powders in labeled jars. It wasn't much, but it was mine. One night, I sat with Nathan in the kitchen. He had come to visit for the weekend. He wore a crisp blue shirt, expensive-looking watch, and smelled like cologne I couldn't afford. So he asked, sipping his coffee, "What are you working on these days?" I lit up. "Actually, I've been working on a full skincare line. All natural, no harsh chemicals. I even have a name for it, Pure Glow." He raised his eyebrows. "Pure Glow." "Yeah," I said excitedly. "It means natural beauty. I already designed the logo. Look." I pulled out a notebook and showed him the drawing, a simple water droplet over a green leaf, with the words Pure Glow underneath in elegant font. "Nice," he nodded, flipping through my notes. "You've got ingredients, price estimates, even packaging ideas. Impressive." I smiled shyly. I wanted to be a brand that people can trust. Safe for everyone, even kids. I just don't have the money to start it yet. Nathan leaned back in his chair. "Well, maybe I can help. I've got contacts. Investors. Maybe we can partner. I help with the business side. You handle the products." My eyes widened. "You'd really help me?" "Of course," he said, flashing his perfect smile. "We're family, Em. I believe in you." That night, I barely slept. I imagined seeing my jars on store shelves. I imagined moms using my creams. Teenagers healing their acne naturally. I trusted Nathan. He was always good with people. I thought this was the beginning of something great. Over the next few weeks, I sent him everything. my formulas, my product ideas, my vision boards. I even recorded short videos explaining how to make each product. Nathan told me he was working on getting funding. He said he needed all the materials to pitch to investors properly. I believed him. One afternoon, I called him excitedly. "Hey, I just made a new formula for sensitive skin. Wanting to send it." He sounded distracted. "Yeah, sure. Just email it. I'm in a meeting right now, but I'll look at it later." I didn't think much of it. I figured he was just busy. He said things were moving fast. He promised we'd launch together soon. A week later, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw an ad. My heart stopped. There was my Pure Glow logo, the same exact one I had drawn, now on a glossy ad for a new skincare brand. The caption read, "Introducing Pure Glow, founded by Nathan Carter. Skincare that's honest, clean, and powerful." I dropped my phone. "No, no, no." I whispered, hands trembling. I clicked the link. A full website appeared, beautiful photos of products I had made. The turmeric mask, the aloe cream, even the product names were the same. But my name? Nowhere. I dialed Nathan immediately. My heart pounded in my chest. "Hey, Em," he said casually. "What the hell is this?" I shouted, "You launched Pure Glow without me?" There was silence for a moment. Then he sighed. "Emily, listen. Investors don't like small setups. They needed someone with business experience. I had to move quickly. But I created everything. The name, the formulas, everything. I tweaked some things. And you know what they say, execution matters more than ideas. You stole it from me." I cried. "You promised we'd do this together." Nathan's voice turned cold. "You can't prove anything, Em. You never registered anything officially. You're not even part of the company." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I trusted you." I whispered, "You're my brother." "I'm just doing what's best for the business," he said flatly. "Look, I can offer you a consultant role, maybe a few $1,000s, but you'll have to sign an NDA and step back." A few $1,000s? For my dream? Tears streamed down my face. "No, keep your money," I said. "I won't sign anything, and I won't forget this." Nathan laughed bitterly. "Suit yourself." Then he hung up. Just like that, my dream was gone, and my brother had cut me off. After that call, everything felt like a blur. I locked myself in my room for hours, staring at the same screen, Pure Glow by Nathan Carter. My formulas, my vision, my logo, but my name? Not even a whisper. My heart was shattered. I kept going over the past few weeks in my head. Every conversation, every message I had sent him. I remembered how excited I was, how much I had trusted him. I had given him everything without hesitation, because he was my brother, because I believed he would never hurt me. But now, it felt like I didn't know him at all. That night, I barely ate. Mom noticed something was wrong. "Emily, honey, are you okay?" she asked gently, sitting beside me on the couch. I looked down, trying to hold back tears. "Nathan, he stole my idea, Mom." Her eyes widened. "What?" "He launched Pure Glow. Without me. He used everything I gave him, the name, the products, everything, and he's taking all the credit." Mom covered her mouth in shock. "But why would he do that?" "He promised he'd help you. He said I didn't have experience, that investors wouldn't take me seriously. He even offered me money to stay quiet." Tears rolled down my cheeks. I couldn't hold them in anymore. Mom reached over and hugged me tightly. "Oh, my baby, I'm so sorry." But what hurt the most wasn't just losing the business. It was the silence that followed. Nathan stopped replying to my texts. When I tried calling again, I heard the automated voice. "The number you have dialed is unavailable." Blocked. He had blocked me. I couldn't believe it. We were family. We had grown up in the same house, eaten at the same dinner table, laughed at the same jokes. And now, he treated me like I didn't exist. For days, I felt numb. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I would scroll through Pure Glow's Instagram page like a ghost. Every post felt like a knife in my chest. There were photos of fancy packaging, celebrity influencers holding my turmeric face mask, beauty bloggers reviewing my products. Each time, the caption read, "Created with love and science by our founder, Nathan Carter." I started getting calls from people who had seen the launch. "Emily, I didn't know Nathan was into skincare. I thought this was your project. Didn't you talk about Pure Glow last year?" I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to sound bitter, but I also didn't want to lie. So I just said it's complicated. And it was. Mom tried calling Nathan to confront him, but he didn't answer her either. It was like he had erased us both from his life, like we were nothing but stepping stones. One evening, I received a knock on the door. It was a courier. He handed me a thick envelope. Inside was a legal notice, papers from Nathan's lawyer. It read, "You are hereby requested to refrain from making public statements regarding the brand Pure Glow or its founder. Any attempt to claim ownership of the products or brand identity will be met with legal consequences." I sank to the floor. He wasn't just cutting me off. He was trying to silence me. I realized then this wasn't just betrayal. It was war. The legal letter broke something inside me. Nathan had drawn a line in the sand, and I was standing on the wrong side of it. I wanted to fight back, but I didn't even know where to begin. I had no money, no legal team, and no proof beyond scattered notebooks and a few videos on my old laptop. Nothing was patented. Nothing was registered. Nathan had outplayed me. I sank into depression. Days passed where I didn't get out of bed. I stopped mixing oils, stopped creating. My small garage lab collected dust. I felt like a fool. Mom did her best to comfort me, but I could see the worry in her eyes. Bills were piling up. We were barely surviving on her teaching salary. I knew I had to do something. One afternoon, I decided to go for a walk. I ended up in front of a small beauty store downtown. A handwritten sign read, "Now hiring part-time clerk." I stood there for a long moment. It wasn't what I dreamed of, but it was something. I walked in and applied. 2 days later, I started working there. Just minimum wage, stocking shelves, helping customers, cleaning counters. I hated it at first, but something strange happened. As I stood near those shelves, handling jars and reading labels, my old passion started to stir. I'd find myself reading ingredients, mentally analyzing formulas, and customers began to notice. One day, a woman asked, "What cream do you recommend for sensitive skin?" I smiled softly. "Actually, if you want something gentle, look for products with calendula or chamomile. They calm the skin naturally." She blinked. "How do you know that?" "I used to make skincare products," I said, "before things fell apart." She smiled. "Well, you should start again." That night, I cried, not because I was sad, but because something inside me woke up again. I dusted off my laptop, opened a new document, and typed in bold letters, "Earthbloom, a new beginning." No big launch. No investors. No brother. Just me and my truth. I didn't have money for packaging or labels. So I started small. I bought tiny glass jars online, printed my labels at home, and filled them with my best-selling formula, the turmeric and honey mask. I took photos with my cracked phone. I didn't use any filters. Just natural light and honesty. Then I made an Instagram page, @Earthbloom by Emily. I wrote my first caption from the heart. I was betrayed by someone I loved, but I'm still standing. I'm rebuilding one jar at a time. This is for anyone who's ever been silenced. Your story matters. I didn't expect much, but within a few days, strangers started following me. People began liking, sharing, and commenting. This is so raw and real. I've been through the same thing. You inspire me. How can I order? I packaged the first 10 orders in brown paper with handwritten thank you notes. I didn't care about profit. I just wanted to create again. Mom hugged me tightly. "I'm so proud of you, Emily." I smiled through tears. "I'm starting over, Mom, this time on my own terms." And deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. Earthbloom wasn't just a skincare brand. It was my way of breathing again. Even though I was still working part-time at the beauty store, I spent every evening in our tiny kitchen, hand-making jars of turmeric mask, calendula balm, and lavender facial mist. Each batch was small, 5 to 10 jars at most, but each one felt like a piece of my heart. I didn't have money for a website, so I used Instagram and WhatsApp to take orders. It was slow at first. Just a few curious followers, a handful of sales. I remember crying the day I got my 5th customer. Not because of the sale, but because it meant someone believed in me. I started posting little behind-the-scenes videos of me mixing oils and herbs. Nothing fancy. Just me and my apron with my messy table full of jars. One evening, I posted a video explaining the story behind Earth Bloom. Hi, I'm Emily. I started this brand after someone close to me betrayed me and took everything I worked for. But instead of giving up, I decided to rebuild. I make clean, honest skincare from the heart. If you've ever felt like your voice didn't matter, this is for you. That video changed everything. Within 24 hours, it had over 10,000 views. Comments flooded in. Your story touched me so deeply. You're so brave for sharing this. How do I order? I want to support you. This is what real entrepreneurship looks like. By the end of the week, I had 100 new followers and 23 orders. I couldn't believe it. Mom! I shouted, rushing into the living room. I made over 20 sales this week. She smiled and hugged me tightly. See? Your light is too strong to be dimmed, Emily. I used part of the money to buy more supplies, glass jars, essential oils, honey, dried flowers. The rest I saved carefully in a small envelope labeled Earth Bloom Growth. Every night, after work, I packaged jars in brown paper with my handwritten thank you notes. I still didn't have professional branding, but people loved the honesty. They posted photos of their orders and tagged me. Slowly, Earth Bloom started growing, but it wasn't just about the products. People were connecting with the story. One woman messaged me privately. I was pushed out of my own business by my fiancé. Your journey gave me hope. Thank you. Another said, I ordered your mask and cried while reading your note. You made me feel seen. Every message was a reminder that I wasn't alone. That pain could become purpose. Still, I had tough days. Days where I doubted myself. Days where I'd see pure glow trending online and feel that familiar sting of betrayal. One afternoon, while scrolling, I saw a headline. Pure Glow partners with major retail chain. Founder Nathan Carter celebrates rapid success. The photo showed him in a suit, holding a champagne glass, surrounded by flashing cameras. I stared at it, my chest heavy. He was thriving, while I was still printing labels at home. But then I remembered something my mom once told me. Not every fast success lasts, but what's built with love, that stays. I wiped my tears and got back to work. 3 months after launching Earth Bloom, I decided to take a bold step. A local craft fair was being held downtown, and small vendors could book a stall for $50. I hesitated. $50 was a lot for me. But Mom looked at me one evening and said, Do it. You'll never know unless you try. So I did. I bought a folding table, borrowed a white cloth, printed a small banner that read, Earth Bloom, clean beauty from the heart, and spent 2 nights preparing jars and display samples. The morning of the fair, I was so nervous I could barely eat. My hands were shaking as I set up my stall between 2 other vendors, one selling handmade candles and another selling organic tea. For the first hour, people passed by without stopping. I tried to smile, tried to greet them, but I felt invisible. Then a woman with curly hair stopped in front of my stall. She picked up one of my jars, sniffed it, and smiled. This smells amazing. Did you make this yourself? Yes, I said nervously. All handmade, 100% natural. She read the small card I had placed beside the products. It told a shortened version of my story. She looked up at me with soft eyes. This is powerful. You've been through a lot. I nodded. She bought 2 jars. Later that day, more people came. Some just chatted. Others asked questions. I gave free samples to anyone who was curious. By the end of the fair, I had sold almost everything I brought. One girl came back and said, My friend just tried your turmeric mask and said it made her skin feel amazing. She wanted to order 2 more. My eyes lit up. That night, I walked home carrying an empty basket and a full heart. I posted about the fair on my Instagram and shared pictures from the day. The comments poured in. So proud of you. I love how real your brand is. I wish I lived closer to buy in person. A few days later, a popular skincare influencer named Jasmine Lee, with over 300,000 followers, commented on one of my posts. This is beautiful. DM me. I'd love to try your products. I stare at my phone, frozen. Was this real? I messaged her immediately and offered to send her a free set. A week later, Jasmine posted an Instagram story reviewing my products. I tried Earthbloom's turmeric mask and wow. Not only does it feel amazing, but the story behind the brand touched my heart. This is the kind of business I love supporting. She tagged me. Within hours, my Instagram exploded. Orders tripled. My follower count jumped by thousands. I had called my cousin to help me pack orders. Mom even started helping me label jars. I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and emotional, but I had never felt more alive. That week, I opened an online store using a free website builder. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Now, people could place orders more easily. I also received an email from a small boutique in Atlanta. Hi, Emily. We love what you're doing with Earthbloom. We'd like to carry your products in our store. Are you open to wholesale orders? I couldn't believe it. I had no PR team, no investor, no fancy office. Just jars, herbs, and heartbreak turned into healing. One evening, as I was packaging a large order, Mom came in holding her phone. Emily, she said softly, look at this. It was a news article. The headline read, Pure Glow faces backlash after customers complain about skin reactions. Investigation ongoing. I froze. I clicked the article. It explained how multiple customers had reported rashes after using some new Pure Glow products. The company was now under investigation for using unapproved synthetic ingredients. Nathan had tried to grow too fast and cut corners. I stared at the screen in silence. I didn't feel joy, just a strange sense of peace. I turned to Mom and said, I don't want revenge. I just want to keep growing. And she smiled. Then that's exactly what you'll do. News of the Pure Glow scandal spread like wildfire. Everywhere I looked, Twitter, Facebook, even beauty forums. People were talking about it. Influencers began pulling their sponsorships. Some customers posted pictures of skin burns and allergic reactions after using Pure Glow's newest products. Hashtags started trending. Hashtag Pure Glow problem. Hashtag not so pure after all. Hashtag boycott Pure Glow. I sat on my bed, reading through the posts in shock. Nathan had always been smart, slick, strategic, but in his rush for fame and money, he forgot the most important rule of skincare. People trust what goes on their skin. You can't fake quality, and you can't cheat nature. An email from a former Pure Glow employee was shared online. It exposed how Nathan replaced natural ingredients with cheaper synthetic ones to meet high demand, and how he pressured staff to keep quiet. People were furious. One morning, I opened my phone and saw a viral YouTube video titled, The Truth About Pure Glow, Shocking Revelations. It had over 1 million views. The video showed side-by-side screenshots of Nathan's original Pure Glow marketing, where he claimed everything was handmade and natural, and then screenshots of complaints and lab reports proving the opposite. In the comments section, someone wrote, What happened to the woman who created this? I remember seeing a smaller brand with similar products before Pure Glow came out. Another replied, Her name's Emily Carter. She has her own brand now, Earthbloom. I've been following her since the beginning. She's the real deal. I blinked at the screen, stunned. People were connecting the dots, and for the first time, they were speaking up for me. Orders started flooding in faster than ever before. I was overwhelmed, in the best way. I had to close my shop temporarily to catch up. Even then, messages poured in. Please reopen soon. I want to switch from Pure Glow to Earthbloom. I wish I'd found you earlier. Your story is so powerful. I never trusted that Nathan guy. You're the one with the real magic. One night, I was working late in the kitchen when Mom walked in with her laptop. You need to see this, she said quietly. It was a live video. Nathan, he sat in a cold white office, no smile, no champagne. Just a man who looked tired, defeated. He cleared his throat and said, I want to publicly apologize to our customers. Mistakes were made in the production of some of our products. I take full responsibility and have launched a full investigation. He paused. Also, I want to acknowledge someone I've wronged. My sister, Emily Carter. She had the original vision behind the formulas that made Pure Glow successful. I did not give her the credit or respect she deserved. And for that, I am deeply sorry. I stared at the screen in disbelief. Was this real? Part of me wanted to cry. Part of me wanted to scream. But most of me just felt numb. Mom looked at me. What do you want to do? I shook my head. Nothing. He's doing damage control. He's not sorry for what he did. He's sorry he got caught. Mom sighed. You're probably right. But still, look how far you've come, Emily. I looked around at my little workspace. My jars, herbs, sticky notes. My hands were stained with turmeric. My apron had lavender oil spots. My heart was full. I had come a long way from the girl, crying on the floor with a stolen dream. Now, the dream was mine again. After the scandal, Pure Glow's empire crumbled. Major stores dropped their products. Investors pulled out. Nathan disappeared from social media. The once glossy brand now had a reputation that couldn't be scrubbed clean. And in the middle of that chaos, Earth Bloom soared. My small online store became a full-time business. I hired 2 local women to help with production and packaging. We moved into a tiny rented studio space that smelled like roses and beeswax. I even upgraded my website, thanks to a kind graphic designer who reached out offering help for free. Your story moved me, she said. It deserves a beautiful home online. I cried when she sent me the final design. It was soft, clean, and earthy, just like my products. Each page told the story of how Earth Bloom began. My story. No more hiding. Media outlets started calling. One journalist from a women's magazine wrote, While Pure Glow fades, Earth Bloom blossoms. Emily Carter is the face of clean beauty done right. They even asked for a photo shoot. Me, in a magazine, I wore a plain cream blouse and minimal makeup. Just a touch of Earth Bloom balm on my cheeks. The photographer said, You're glowing. I laughed softly. It's homemade. That week, I hosted Earth Bloom's first in-person pop-up store. It was in a cute little event space with hanging plants, fairy lights, and tables covered in linen cloth. The jars sat in neat rows, tied with twine and dried flowers. Customers walked in, some of them teary-eyed. I've followed you since the beginning, one woman said. I'm so proud of you. Another whispered, You remind me that it's okay to start over. I was overwhelmed by love. Even Jasmine Lee, the influencer who once shared my brand, showed up. She hugged me tightly. You did it, girl. This is only the beginning. I smiled, holding back tears. Thank you for believing in me. Just as the event was wrapping up, I stepped outside for a breath of fresh air, and that's when I saw him, Nathan. He stood across the street in a black coat, hands in his pockets, watching quietly. For a moment, time froze. He walked over slowly. His eyes looked different, tired, older, not as proud. Hi, he said softly. Hi, I replied, arms crossed. I saw the event online, he continued. I just wanted to say congratulations. I didn't respond. He looked down. I know sorry is enough. I ruined everything. And I lost the only person who ever believed in me. I sighed. You didn't just take a business idea, Nathan. You took my trust, my heart, my future. I know, he whispered. I wish I could go back. I shook my head. You can't, but I've moved on. He nodded slowly. You look happy, peaceful. I am, I said. He looked at me, eyes glossy. If you ever want to talk, I'll be around. I gave a faint smile. Goodbye, Nathan. And I walked back inside. to my pop-up, to my team, to my real future. I didn't need revenge. I had something better. I had peace. A month passed since the pop-up event. Earth Bloom was blooming more than ever. We were restocking products weekly. Customers from all over the country were placing orders. I had even hired a part-time assistant to help manage social media and emails. But something still weighed on me. The loose thread, Nathan, he had reached out once more through a long email, apologizing again, this time in more detail. He admitted everything. Stealing the idea, lying, cutting me off, and replacing my ingredients with cheaper ones to meet demand. I thought I was doing the right thing for business, he wrote, but I lost my soul in the process. And I lost you. I didn't reply, not because I hated him, but because I was still healing. Then one afternoon, I received an invitation. It was from a women's entrepreneur organization. They were hosting a panel discussion on ethical business, healing from betrayal, and building from rock bottom. They asked me to be the keynote speaker. My hands trembled as I read the message. Me? A keynote speaker? I called Mom right away. They want me to speak, Mom, in front of people, about everything. She gasped, "You have to do it. Emily, your story will help so many women." So I said yes. The night before the event, I barely slept. I kept rehearsing my story in front of the mirror. I cried a little. Then I laughed. Then I cried again. The next morning, I walked into a small auditorium filled with around 100 people, mostly women, young entrepreneurs, students. When they introduced me, I stepped onto the stage wearing a soft green dress and no makeup, just my Earth Bloom balm. I looked out at the faces, some smiling, some curious, some teary-eyed already. I took a deep breath. My name is Emily Carter. A few years ago, I shared a business idea with someone I loved, someone I trusted. That person stole my dream, erased my name, and left me with nothing. For a long time, I thought that meant the end. But it wasn't. It was a beginning. I started over with $30, a kitchen table, and my heart. Today, I run a growing skincare business built on honesty, healing, and resilience. And I want you to know, whatever has been taken from you doesn't define what you're still capable of creating. The room was silent. Then came the applause. Some people stood. Others cried. A woman in the back shouted, "Thank you for your truth." After the speech, many people came up to hug me. They told me their own stories of business betrayal, toxic relationships, stolen dreams. One woman, about my age, whispered, "You gave me permission to start again." That night, as I left the venue, I saw a man waiting by the exit. Nathan. He looked different. Thinner. No suit. No watch. Just jeans and a quiet face. "I saw the live stream," he said softly. "You were amazing." I nodded. "I wanted to say this in person," he continued. "Not for the public, not for show, but because I needed to. You built something real, Emily, something I never could, and I'm proud of you, even if I don't deserve to say that." I stared at him. For a moment, the hurt came back, the anger, the sadness. But then I realized something. I didn't hate him. I had outgrown the pain. "I forgive you," I said quietly, "but I can't let you back into my life." Nathan swallowed hard and nodded. "I understand." We stood in silence for a few seconds. Then I turned and walked away, not with bitterness, but with peace. I wasn't walking away from him. I was walking toward me. Chapter 10. Full circle. A year later, Earth Bloom had grown into something beyond my wildest dreams. We had our own dedicated workspace, a small team of 6 women, and loyal customers from over 20 states. We even started a project that donated free skincare products to women in shelters, because I believed everyone deserved to feel seen and cared for. One afternoon, I received an email. It was from the organizers of TEDx Chicago. They had seen a clip of my keynote speech online and wanted me to give a talk. The title they suggested? "He Stole My Dream But Not My Fire." I laughed, then cried, then said yes. The talk was held in a beautiful theater. Bright lights, a red carpet, hundreds of people in the audience, and even more watching live online. This time, I felt no fear, just purpose. I stood center stage and told my story, not with shame, but with strength. I ended with these words. Sometimes life takes everything from you, and sometimes the people who love you the most hurt you the deepest. But your power doesn't live in what was taken. It lives in what you choose to create anyway. My name is Emily Carter. I was betrayed. I was silenced. And I rebuilt anyway. You can too. The audience rose to their feet. The talk went viral. Thousands of messages came in. From women, men, business owners, teenagers, even older women who had buried their dreams long ago. Your story healed me. I quit crying and started creating. I finally left the job that broke me. I started my own handmade brand. I realized Earth Bloom was more than a brand. It was a movement. One evening, I sat alone in my home office, looking at a framed quote hanging above my desk. It read, "No one can steal what's truly yours." I smiled, because now I knew it was true. Nathan took my idea, but he couldn't take my fire. And that fire lit the world. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, remember, your comeback can be louder than their betrayal. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more real, emotional stories that inspire, expose, and empower. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been stabbed in the back by someone you loved? Let's talk about it. You're not alone. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.